You're watching Capitol View, Sunday morning talk focused on the political scene in Arkansas.
And welcome back to the program. I am joined now by Representative Jamie Scott, Democrat of North Little Rock, and Representative Aaron Pilkington, Republican from Knoxville/Clarksville. So
yes.
We're giving you the whole River Valley right there.
I love it.
Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
So,
thanks for having us on.
you guys are an interesting pair as legislators because, yes, you're so politically diametrically opposed to each other. Yet you're part of something called the Future Caucus, which I want you to explain what that is and just kind of tell me a little bit about how y'all's relationship, your friendship, has kind of worked across party lines and things that you don't always agree with. So, Jamie, I'll go to you first. So.
I'll let him start because he brought me into MAP, which is the national organization, Millennial Action Project.
Okay.
So yeah, I went to a conference when I first got started for millennials, and it was a great program, kind of talking about a lot of issues that affect us. And so eventually they wanted to start these caucuses in states called Future Caucuses. So we did that, and there was one that was started up in Arkansas a while ago, and it kind of got defunct. And then we brought it back. And that was just because we just found things that we could work on together. And, you know, one of the things I love about the Future Caucus is we just always say, like, you don't have to give up your political beliefs to be a part of it. A lot of time when people think bipartisan, they think it means to be a moderate or something like that. And like you said, we're so diametrally opposed. I mean, I'm like right of the right, she's left of the left, but we're able to find things to work on together. And I think that's really admirable. And I think it's why even within the MAP organization nationally, we've both been given the award of Rising Star, because people see that we can come to an organization, we can listen, we can work together, but at the same time, we're not having to compromise what we actually believe, which is what our constituents, they don't want us to compromise what we believe.
Yeah. So some people would say, give me an example of something. Food insecurity would be something that is really stretches across, you know, partisan stripes and everything. Y'all are working on something in that vein?
Well, we've been working on that since 2019, before the pandemic started. We've been meeting with the governor, just talking to him about food insecurities.
The old governor.
Sorry, we were meeting with Governor Hutchinson and his administration, just trying to educate them on food insecurity and issues that college students are facing that may not be on the forefront of our colleagues' minds. And so we started talking to chancellors across the state from different schools, just trying to figure out, hey, what does your food pantry looks like? Who's using it? And some of them wrote us letters of support to the governor, talking about that they actually had staff that were using them too. Like, that's the dire need that they were seeing on the campuses. So before he left, he was able to give us $100,000 out of his reserve fund. A lot of our colleagues helped us secure that money too as well, because you know, there's a lot of pressing needs. A lot of different elected officials have needs from their areas and from their districts. But Representative Pilkington and I have definitely been champions on this issue. And some people just didn't understand that college kids weren't eating. And
it's real.
It is real. Yeah. And so our application finally went live 2 days ago. So they recently just emailed all. We were there to create the application process, how we wanted it to look. Most of the schools have to, in order to get the money, you have to create a wish list on Amazon, Walmart, wherever they want to create the wish list. And that way we're trying to incite giving from the community as well, or alum. So if I'm a proud graduate of Arkansas State University, but as an alum, if I go look on the food pantry and see that some of those girls need food and tampons, whatever they got on the wish list, I can just buy it and it goes directly to that school. So that's one of the requirements to get our grant. You have to create a need that people in the community can give as well. And so,
I don't want to hear how this relationship works when you disagree on some things as well. So let's just take some of the big issues of this legislative session. Education is going to be one where I think you'll have some different viewpoints on things. We first of all, we've got an omnibus education bill coming. It's going to be pretty comprehensive. It's going to include teacher pay, school choice, parental choice, whatever you want to call it there, reading, literacy, pre-K. How do you guys work through disagreements?
Our relationship started at a disagreement, right?
No, I would say, I mean, it really blossomed, you know, when we had the Stand Your Ground debate. Obviously, I was running that piece of legislation. She was diametrically opposed to it. But I just think in that process, it was about like having respect for each other. You know, I think Bart Hester in his opening address talked about, you know, understand that everyone has good intentions. I think that's what he said, or something around that. And so I think she's not coming from from a negative spot where she's trying to, hurt me. She just wants to represent her people and address the concerns they have. And same with me, that I was.
Did you change your bill any with her concerns?
I did not, but I'd been working on this a while. But I would say even on like the education bill, I think we're probably not going to agree on the final version of what's it going to be like. But I would say we do have really good discussions, and I think too a lot of it's like, okay, well, we're seeing these issues. This is how I think we should do it. It's about trying to be respectful and realize that both of us want what's best for our districts.
Yeah.
And so we're not, while we may disagree, it's not because we don't like each other. And I think that's really a big part. And then when you do disagree, just kind of laugh it off and just realize you're going to need them on the next vote. We have over 2,000 bills get filed during the legislative session. We may not be together on one, but we may be together on the next one.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he might come before judiciary, as he often does, and need my support in that committee. So there's always another day. I try to tell incoming, freshmen that as well. You can't die on every hill. And we've been able to just build our relationship and champion some issues that we deeply care about. Coming from the standard ground, like us, just like me talking about like, hey, this is the impact I think it's going to have on the Black community, on Black men. This is why I care about the issue. I am going to speak out against it. I am going to, but I was just a freshman and I went up to him to start that conversation. I'm like, hey, I don't know you, but I thought that that's what I should do. And a friendship has blossomed. I've been at his baby's baptism. Like, we're truly friends. Now, we fight about issues, but there's always a level of respect there, if that makes sense. The discourse is always civil.
Win, or does he always win, or
I don't know if there's winners.
I think in our own minds, we both think we won. So it's like, I definitely got her on that point, and I'm sure she's rolling her eyes at me walking away. So
funny.
I call him the fire starter, and I'm the one that's always like trying to put out the fires.
You're the fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
Is what you are.
He
So
keeps
that's
me
funny.
in a lot of trouble sometimes.
So let's just stick with education here. What do you think needs to be part of the education reform package, something that you hope is championed in this bill that has still not been presented yet?
Right. So it's really hard to make comments on a bill I haven't seen. I've just heard what might be in it. I have a strong inclination that I would not be in support of a voucher bill.
Right.
I'm a strong advocate for us, giving the teachers pay raises, the governor being the champion on pre-K, literacy, all those things I deeply care about. I would not like to see a bill with all of that in there.
Part of the political calculus, though, for an omnibus bill is you got to vote for all of it.
Absolutely.
To get some of it. So,
and if vouchers is in the bill, that's not something I could support.
that's a deal breaker for you.
Because to me, vouchers, and this is just me, and this is where we disagree, it's a huge threat to public schools. And I know he deeply cares about public schools. So, we have this conversation about, like, this is why I'm here. But I want every school to be great. I have a lot of schools in my district that are really struggling. And to me, school choice is not for all those kids to just go to another district. What happens to all the schools that are left behind in my district? And so that's kind of where I come from.
We need a reality TV show with y'all's private conversations, is what it sounds like here. What's a potential deal breaker for you on education? Is there something that you've heard that if it's not in there, you're going to either want it changed or you're going to say, I don't know if I can support this if this isn't in there?
I would say this. Once again, it's hard to tell when you don't see the bill. I think we've been last in education for so long, and I'm always call myself one of the reformers within the House. That anything I think that moves the ball down the field, I'm going to probably be in support of. I'm really optimistic about some of the things I'm hearing. Like she said, I love the teacher pay increase. I like the choice a part of it. I'm glad that we're including parochial schools. Maybe if that wasn't it, that you couldn't take this money and go to a Catholic school or something like that, I would have a little heartburn on something like that, because I do think those are really good options in areas, and especially too when you have a lot of minorities that especially Hispanics who tend to be Catholic want to send their kids but they can't afford it. I think this is a good option for them, and they obviously perform better than public schools and they want the best for their kids. So that would be something that would give me heartburn, but it'd be really hard for me to say that I'm not going to be against any sort of reform bill, because like I said, I've always been a reformer. I think we need to move the ball down the field. We've been last in education for so long. We got to do something.
Time to shake some things up is what you're saying.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
Right.
Like I said, start that fire.
All right, about 20 seconds left here. Is the next Speaker of the House going to be somebody from the Future Caucus?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't know? That's the prediction right there. So
The next Speaker of the House will be a millennial.
really, all right. We'll get names later. How about that?
All right,
When we get
sounds
off
good.
camera.
Well,
All right.
the Millennial Caucus is actually 45 and under, so there's like how many members?
Like
in the
40,
chamber?
so-
Yeah, it's like possibly 40 members.
So
if
really,
you're,
that
if
wasn't
you're,
a hard prediction.
Yeah,
for you to
I
make
mean,
there,
like-
so, all right, I got it. So, all right, I
Hey,
got
for a legislature, that's young. So.
Yes. No.
Right.
I got to wrap it up there. All right, Representative Aaron Pilkington, Representative Jamie Scott, thank you both so
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate
Thank you for
it.
having us.
We're back to wrap up right after this.